Welcome back to episode 2 of Hacking Happiness. I'm your host, Ghost Rats, and today's topic is going to be accepting yourself and your limitations. Now, if you haven't seen my first podcast, please go check it out. It defines value, and the way I'm designing these podcasts they're going to be building your character and yourself up. So to first establish value and to give yourself value is the first step. And then the next step, I believe, is accepting who you are. And that's what we're going to dive into today, is that acceptance, and then accepting the limitations that you have and not trying to pretend that they don't exist. Understand right off the bat that everybody has a strength and a weakness. We have things that we're really good at, and we have things that we're not so good at. Nobody's good at everything. Nobody. And then the problem that arises is that we believe that we need to be good at everything, and we're not capable of being good at everything. We're just not designed that way. We're very simple beings. We can only process so much information. When you tell yourself that you need to be good at everything, you put unrealistic expectations on yourself, and then you end up getting angry or upset with yourself when you don't reach those unrealistic goals. And then the byproduct of that is depression and anxiety. We become depressed, we become anxious. Now, I want you to understand that you can do anything you put your mind to. You can do it. But also understand that you have limitations. If I told myself right now, I believe I can fly, well, I can't. I would like to think I could, but I can't. I know it seems silly, but I want to paint an image here for you. So I can't fly, and I have accepted that I can't fly. Am I going to beat myself up because I cannot fly? Well, I can run. I can run pretty fast and jump, but I just can't do this whole flight thing. But I've accepted that. And it doesn't bother me that I can't fly because I know I can't do it. Or I'm not capable of doing it without something to help me. Now that's important there. Now, can I fly if I had a plane? Yes, but it's not me. I needed help. I needed to find something else to get me to fly, to get me airborne. Or I needed a jetpack or something ridiculous to make me get off the ground, right? Now, I can get pretty close on my own. I can jump pretty high. I could maybe jump off of a high staircase. Don't recommend doing that. And where am I going with this? So, a couple things here. Accepting that I can't do something on my own. Accepting that I need help to reach that goal. And not blaming myself that I can't fly. And that's a big one. It's not blaming yourself. I don't have wings. I can't fly. So, all right, now let's tie it into a more, now that I painted the image here, let's dive back into how I can relate to people. Say you have a disability. Now, coming from someone that suffers from anxiety, depression, but I want to go more toward the fact of accepting that I have ADHD and Dyslexia. Now, it's been a hard struggle for me to read and write, and it still continues to be a struggle for me, but it also helps me. It gives me drive. It gives me tons of ideas. I can think of multiple things at once. Kind of scatterbrained, but there's good and bad. So to help assist me when it comes to the bad stuff, when it comes to reading and writing, I have tools. I have voice to text. I have spell check, and I was able to get through college. I just found a way. I just found these tools that make it possible for me. Now, when it comes to math and science and computers and tech, I gravitated toward that because it really interested me, and I understood it pretty well. So I'm usually it's one or the two. Someone's good at math, or somebody's good at English. It's rare to see somebody that's really good at both. Usually, some part they struggle, and that's okay. We're not supposed to be good at everything. We have our limitations, and it's good to accept that. But it's also good to get help. Now, if I just kept blaming myself that I can't read, I can't write, I mean, if I never kept the drive to keep pushing, I mean, it's a harder process for me, but it's not impossible. I got to get the tools and help that you need, and that can apply to your life too. Maybe there's something that holds you back from certain things, and you don't want to be the person that makes excuses, that says, oh, you know what, whatever. I'm helpless. I can't. I mean, you could change the can't to could. It's just it takes more effort and time. And I know that's a lot to ask of you, and it's a lot of a demand, but you are the best thing to invest in. Best thing to invest in is in yourself. Take the time to help yourself and to accept help. And one more picture I want to paint. Let's say I was born without a hand. Like I didn't have a left hand. I only had a right hand. Now I know that I couldn't do certain things because I don't have two hands. Now I'm gonna get mad at myself because I can't do things like everybody else because I was born without a hand. That wasn't my fault. Why would I blame myself for what I have and what I don't have? And I feel like we do that to ourselves a lot. We put a lot of pressures on ourselves that we need to do everything and be the hero and all that. And we can. It's okay to accept the help. And we're not meant to go through life alone. Now, I'm a Christian. I want to keep telling you this throughout these podcasts, and I'm going to say my view. And I'm not trying to force anything down your throat. I'm just letting you know where I come from. I came from a household. I grew up in a Christian household, and I ended up later on hating God at one point. Completely went on my own way, and then I found my way back to God of my own choosing. Not because I was told to worship and follow Him. I ended up coming back to Him on my own terms, and it was a really rocky journey. But it still continues to be that. But that's the whole purpose, is the journey, right? You need to really understand that your limitations don't define who you are. And that has been a very hard struggle for me to accept that. You're not defined by your limitations. You're defined on how you react to those limitations. Same thing when you react to how you react to failure. Do you get up or do you stay down? You got to adapt. This world's very tough. You need to adapt. And whatever that weakness is, you need to find the help that you need to get the job done. Now, if you're someone that suffers from depression, you feel lost, maybe it's that you need Jesus in your life. I mean, there's a void in everyone's life that He can only fill. And like I said, we're not designed to go through life alone. And we're not designed for the life that we live today. I mean, we even go back to the days of Adam and Eve. We were supposed to live in this blissful garden, but we ended up messing that up. But it was for a purpose, is that God, the whole thing behind it, if you have to look at it, is that God wants us to love Him because we want to love Him. It's a choice. Now, if we were in Garden of Eden and we're just told this is the way and this is the only way, it's not really love, is it? Like, you can't demand somebody to love them. He gave us a choice. He gives us a choice, just like He gave Adam and Eve a choice. You can have everything you want but this one tree. So, and the whole Old Testament is that same human condition where we get close, we mess up, we fall, and it's a constant human condition that we're just constantly trying to get back to that state. And eventually we will. I mean, if you read Revelations, it'll talk about how it's all going to play out at the end. And basically the Garden of Eden will come back, but for now we live in a world that's fallen. And it's not that God made all this pain and suffering, it's just the void of Him. This is the void. This is the byproduct of goodness. Like, if you take the goodness away, you have this byproduct of bad things. And sure, God allows bad things to happen, but sometimes He uses it as a tool to help us, bring us to Him, to grab our attention. I don't know if I noticed in my life, the further I got away from God, the more God would do something drastic in my life to bring me back to Him, to grab my attention. So it's been quite a journey for myself, but it's okay to ask for help. It is. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable. You're not meant to do this alone. The worst thing you can do is just listen to the thoughts in your head and have it build up, and you believe that you're something that you're not. Your limitations do not define who you are. It's how you respond to them. Keep pushing forward. I keep sending the message. I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself. You need to accept who you are and accept your limitations. You need to first find value, understand what true value is, value yourself, and then to accept who you are and accept those limitations. That's to be it for this podcast. So the first podcast was value. This podcast was about your limitations and accepting yourself. So I want to work on the next topic, but I want to design these podcasts to build you up, build your character up from the foundation up. We established value, and we established your self-worth and believing in yourself and accepting the limitations. I hope you like these podcasts. If you do, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to the next one. And this has just been, God's been giving me such a discernment to do this. Maybe it could reach one person that needs to hear this message. And that's all that's worth it to me. So God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next podcast.